100 years had passed since spiritual energy first awakened, becoming the most essential force in this world, and under its profound enhancement, creatures had begun to evolve in two distinct directions, one path leading to wild reversion, which greatly enhanced their physical energy, while the other saw them undergo spiritual mutation, a transformation that focused primarily on potent energy attacks. Humans, too, had evolved, developing various spiritual energy professions such as spirit beast. But for Lin Yuan, none of this grand evolution held any personal meaning, as he lay in bed scrolling through his phone for advice on drinking more hot water. And finding a ventilated area, Genius, a small black cat, complained to him about feeling utterly hot, and he then asked the cat what it was doing as it climbed onto his head, believing higher places offered more coolness. Lin Yuan noted that the height difference was not significant enough to make a real change. Then the cat tried to open the window with a determined paw. He told the creature there was wind outside and urged it to take its medicine, to which it simply replied that it knew. Lin Yuan, an 18-year-old owner of a small spiritual creature shop, reflected that while others could harness spiritual energy, it remained a distant fantasy for him. Having been weak since childhood, unable to perceive spiritual energy, improve his physical fitness, or contract high-level spiritual creatures, he observed a wilting jasmine lily plant, noting that covering it with cloth had proven ineffective, and there was no suitable way to cool it down. Lin Yuan considered that as the lowest-tier healing plant, its competitiveness was simply too weak, even inferior to green vine, used as fodder. He thought that in this world, after spiritual energies awakening, all spiritual creatures possessed distinct grades and quality distinctions, with broken ones considered low. Genius looked up as Lin Yuan added that almost no one cultivated such low-tier spiritual creatures, and no one had ever heard of 100 Questions beasts evolving. Sound, a small light blue bird, delivered medicine to Lin Yuan, who thanked the bird for its diligent hard work. Lin Yuan reflected that merely contracting the lowest-tier Genius and Sound had left him dizzy for half a month, let alone perceiving spiritual energy to cultivate and level them up. Genius then asked why no one was on the street if humans loved sleeping in, and Lin Yuan dismissed his question as utter nonsense. A vendor called out from outside that they had fresh vegetables growing exceptionally well today, and a little girl walking with her mother pointed out 100 Questions beast, just like her own cat Keek. Genius, sitting in the shop, greeted them and asked if they would like to purchase some radishes. Keek commented that Genius had dry gray fur and was leftover merchandise that could not compare to her making. Genius question being called leftover merchandise. Genius then declared that since they were both 100 Questions beasts, they should settle their dispute with a game of rock, paper, scissors. Lin Yuan, holding Genius, told him not to be angry and offered to take him for a walk to cheer him up, asking if it was all right to leave the store unattended. He then pulled down the shop's shutter, stating there was no business anyway, and Genius excitedly told Lin Yuan to go buy some meat. Genius declared that if he ate a few more pieces of braised pork, he would definitely become smarter and then would not lose again. As they walked, Sound told Genius not to be sad even if he was not as smart as other 100 Questions beasts, to which Genius replied that it only made him feel worse. Lin Yuan sighed, wishing he could perceive spiritual energy. When Sound urgently told him to look to the left, he saw a blunt armor pig, and wondered if something terrible had happened at the breeding farm. Genius excitedly exclaimed that 50 tons of wild braised pork had suddenly appeared. Lin Yuan shouted at Genius not to risk his life for food, because he simply could not beat it. He realized the pig was unusually angry, which was highly uncommon for blunt armor pigs, and wondered what exactly was going on. Lin Yuan, carrying Genius and running from the charging pig, felt more tired than usual, and Sound asked if he was okay. He stumbled and fell heavily to the ground, still holding Genius tightly. Sound flew towards the pig, proclaiming he would protect Lin Yuan, while Genius also charged, yelling for the braised pork to bring it on. Lin Yuan, struggling to rise, thought he could not faint yet, and urgently urged his creatures to run. He then found himself in a strange, dark place, and wondered where he truly was. He noticed a copper ring and questioned if it could possibly be related to his current predicament. Lin Yuan realized the copper ring was the one he had lost when he was 8 years old, which had mysteriously disappeared after touching his blood. He could feel spiritual energy returning, noting that the spiritual energy he had not sensed since age 8 was now undeniably back. Genius then called out that Lin Yuan was finally awake. Sound urged him to think of something as Genius struggled fiercely against the blunt armor pig, and Lin Yuan realized he could not do anything with such little spiritual energy and no time. A golden light emanated powerfully from the copper ring, which was now securely on his wrist. Golden energy shone from Lin Yuan's eyes. He could now clearly see the blunt armor pig's information, noting it was a level 3 spiritual creature, while Genius and Sound did not even possess level 1. Lin Yuan shouted at Genius to dodge quickly, because the pig would attack from the right side. Genius barely managed to dodge, and Lin Yuan realized the gap in power was still far too large. He thought he needed much stronger power if they were truly his contracted spiritual creatures. Sound flew towards the pig, shouting not to hurt Genius. Lin Yuan observed the light around Sound, realizing it was the same as the light around him, and wondered if it could be connected. Lin Yuan pondered if the light around Sound and himself was truly connected to the power emanating from the 3 rings, as the formidable blunt armor pig loomed before them. The blunt armor pig then let out a powerful guttural roar that shook the very ground. Genius was visibly startled by the pig's thunderous roar, and Lin Yuan, observing the scene, wondered why its voice was so much louder than Sound's. He realized the power gap between his spiritual creatures and the level 3 pig was still far too significant, even though they were on the verge of evolution, and with that thought he tried to pinpoint the pig's weak spot. Genius exclaimed that the blunt armor pig was simply too strong while Sound Sound, looking to Lin Yuan, asked what they should do next. Lin Yuan instructed Sound Sound to sing loudly, hoping to get the pig's undivided attention, and the little bird readily agreed to try. Sound Sound began to sing, emitting a cascade of musical notes, and a soft, captivating light. He quickly covered his ears, thinking it was incredibly fortunate. He had over 400 sparring sessions to rely on for such moments. The blunt armor pig, its armored body slowly turning, redirected its full attention towards the singing Sound Sound. Sound Sound flew higher into the air, realizing its role was merely to give Genius a much-needed break, while the pig continued its relentless roaring. Lin Yuan then commanded Sound Sound to turn around and attack the pig's eyes, believing that if it lost sight it would be forced to stop its assault. Sound Sound affirmed his command, saying okay and promising to show him what it could do. The bird swiftly flew, realizing that the previous move it had used would no longer be effective against such a foe. Lin Yuan suddenly collapsed to one knee, realizing with a jolt that his mental power had completely run out at this critical time. He clutched his wrists, silently begging his spiritual creature to hold on just a bit longer. Sound Sound then felt a sudden, unexpected surge of energy coursing through its being. Sound Sound, empowered, then launched multiple glowing feathers directly at the blunt armor pig. Lin Yuan, with renewed determination, despite his exhaustion, told Genius that now was the opportune moment to attack. Genius confidently assured him not to worry, stating it was a genius, and knew exactly what part of the pig to attack. Genius then lunged with incredible speed at the blunt armor pig, aiming directly for its vulnerable nose. Genius successfully attacked the blunt armor pig's nose, causing the massive creature to recoil in pain. Genius, looking a bit dizzy from the effort, asked Lin Yuan if they had won, and he confirmed their victory, praising them for driving the pig away. Sound Sound and Genius both called out to Lin Yuan. As he collapsed once more, his strength completely spent, the blunt armor pig, defeated and injured, fled quickly into the distance. A woman pushing a man in a wheelchair wondered why something felt distinctly off nearby, and how a blunt armor pig had ended up in this area. The man in the wheelchair noticed several feathers on the ground, recognizing them instantly as being from Little Yuan's place. The woman told the man, Old Lee, that she would leave the pig to him and go find Little Yuan first, to which he readily agreed. Old Lee apologized for troubling his old friend as he prepared to engage with a spiritual creature. Rabbit. Lin Yuan found himself in a vast, white, cloudy space, realizing with a sense of familiarity that he had been here before. He saw a figure of himself in the distance, and realized it was a bit late as his other self offered to share mental power. He observed the expansive space, estimating it to be about 30 to 50 square meters, and wondered if it was truly a phase internal space. Lin Yuan then asked if this was indeed his ability. He identified it as Mobius, and saw its detailed data, which included True Data skill that converts complex information into usable data, and Calm Mind, a passive skill that stabilizes the mind and resists negative status effects. He realized he had seen the True Data skill before and wondered if Calm Mind was honed from practicing with Sound Sound, then questioned if Mobius was a legendary divine treasure or a fantasy species due to its exclusive trait at a normal grade. He read the exclusive trait of Mobius, which allowed it to nurture phase in its space, preventing them from having an initial level and increasing their level with Mobius' own level. But Mobius itself could not level up, and he realized he could nurture phase and cultivate Mobius to level up. Lin Yuan thought that cultivating even low-tier phase already cost a fortune, and he was currently completely broke. He decided it was still far better than having nothing at all, as he could now sense mental power, hoping for a significant breakthrough later on. A man with blonde hair heard a woman, Auntie Zhang, from next door, asking a doctor why someone had not woken up after half a day, indicating he should go out. Genius and Sound Sound nudged Lin Yuan, gently calling his name with concern. Lin Yuan smiled, asking if they were so worried they could not speak properly, as he gently stroked Genius. He finally woke up in a hospital bed, where a doctor and Auntie Zhang were present, with the doctor stating that his auntie was worried sick, and offering another examination. He politely declined the examination, but Auntie Zhang informed him he had been unconscious for nearly 10 hours, and needed treatment if he wanted to become a big one. He agreed, saying okay. Auntie Zhang, while internally deciding to keep his contract with Mobius a secret from her and Uncle Lee, for now. The doctor then showed a clear Poncarp Fei, praising its elite grade 4 quality and its rare mental trauma recovery skill. The doctor said he had no problems and would head out for dinner, and Lin Yuan sincerely thanked him. Old Lee's rabbit Fei arrived with a delicious meal, announcing that dinner was ready for them. Auntie Zhang presented the meal, telling Lin Yuan that Uncle Lee had specially prepared a nutritious meal for him, and he should be grateful. Lin Yuan smiled, saying he could not refuse such kindness, as Genius exclaimed about the delicious smell of bruised pork. Auntie Zhang sat down holding the rabbit Fei and wondered how mysterious Uncle Lee's terror rabbit always was compared to others. Deciding to take a closer look, he used his ability on the rabbit Fei, discovering its skills were all question marks, that it possessed dual exclusive traits, and that it was not even a terror rabbit. Lin Yuan struggles to continue jogging, feeling exhausted, realizing the intensity is still too much for him since leaving the hospital, and without spiritual energy to strengthen his body, he might need to consider lifestyle professions instead of combat. When old Li and Auntie Zhang approach with Auntie Zhang asking if little Yuan is exercising early in the morning, and he smiles flexing saying he needs to stay healthy and strong using his ability, Lin Yuan sees a detailed description of tarsal gangrene on old Li's leg, noting, it is caused by a platinum tier bone rot threadworm, a biological toxin mixed with a mental curse, and he realizes the spiritual energy professional who caused this must be at least king tier as Uncle Li has contained this domineering toxin in his calf for many years. The events continue to unfold. He considers that if this is true, then Uncle Li was seriously injured and transformed into this form for recovery, keeping things hidden. Auntie Zhang tells him to call if anything comes up, or if little Qi needs money for school, advising him not to handle it alone, and he reassures them not to worry. Lin Yuan thinks about how Uncle Li has taken care of him, and little Qi wondering if there is a way to heal his injuries, and if he can do it. He arrives home and opens the door. He notices his green radish Fei has improved to elite quality. Surprised, it evolved from normal quality overnight. He wonders if his spiritual energy is not leaking out, but rather being absorbed by Fei's through him. To evolve, he decides to try again, increasing the difficulty by choosing a healing type, Fei, a jasmine lily. Lin Yuan places his hand on the plant, revealing its details as a jasmine lily elite grade, with normal quality skills for healing, and a refreshing aroma. He celebrates the success of creating an elite grade jasmine lily, noting its value has increased tenfold with this skill. He calls for Genius and Sound to stop sleeping and come look quickly as Sound flies down, telling Lin Yuan she thinks they have leveled up while Genius purrs in his arms. Genius, now 100 questions. Beast explains that before he could only remember one piece of bruised pork, but now he remembers 9 pieces. Sound, now a sound bird, joyfully sings about her greatly improved singing. Lin Yuan exclaims about finding his cheat ability and getting rich as Sound asks what a cheat ability is. He then realizes it is far more than just getting rich. He considers that Fey evolution is incredibly difficult, with most requiring creation masters to use vast amounts of treasure materials and spiritual medicine to allow Feys that have reached the critical level to evolve with some probability. He realizes he can actually do it with just his own power. He understands this is such a shocking ability that those who covet it would be countless, and without the ability to protect himself, he cannot expose it. He decides that to safely use this ability, he must methodically become a creation master and use this profession as a long-term cover, or he will attract disaster. Sound delivers a phone to him, and Genius reminds him that little Qi will soon contract her first Fey, which he acknowledges, thanking them. Lin Yuan answers the call from little Qi, who asks how his health is since she has not called in 2 days. He tells her his health is much better, and he is even planning to tidy up the backyard at home. Little Qi reacts with surprise. She exclaims that he does not have spiritual energy enhancement and questions how his body can handle backyard cleaning, telling him to wait until she comes home. He reassures her it is just a simple cleanup, that he is not that weak, and reminds her of their promise to study hard and not waste her talent. She responds saying she understands. Little Qi promises her brother she will not let him down in a classroom. A teacher tells students that in the next couple of days, they will be contracting their first Fey, emphasizing its importance. The teacher explains that a Fey's quality and grade are decisive, influencing a spiritual energy professional's battle power. She adds that the compatibility range for each combat profession system is generally different, and contracting a Fey without affinity will be difficult and may cause mental damage. She further explains that even lifestyle professions require long-term practice to fuse spiritual materials, and their class focusing on creation masters requires even more careful consideration for Fey pairings. A student leaves the classroom saying goodbye to the teacher. Chu Sis teacher asks her to stay for a moment. The teacher asks Chu Si if she is reconsidering the Fey she wants to contract, knowing her family situation, and reminds her of her extremely high talent and the upcoming Federation 100 sequence selection, which she cannot miss. Chu Xi looks down, beginning to respond to her teacher. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan exclaims that he is finally done. He celebrates having upgraded 3 more pots of jasmine lily to elite grade, noting they are worth at least 20 federal coins, giving him hope to buy a high-tier contract Fey for little Qi. His phone rings from an unknown number, and he wonders if it is a new customer, thinking the timing is perfect. He answers the phone asking who is calling. The caller, little Qi's teacher, asks if he is Chu Si's parent, expressing concern that Chu Si plans to contract a gray armored beetle, and that such exceptional talent should not be wasted, which shocks Lin Yuan at the mention of a gray armored beetle, considering it a normal grade Fey that can be bought for 200 coins, extremely aggressive with useless skills, and only good as food for high-tier insectivorous Feys. The teacher explains that Chu Si's affinity range is all defense type Feys, a rare aptitude in Redbud City, and her parents should prepare at least an elite grade defense type Fey as her first contracted Fey. Lin Yuan thanks the teacher, promising to send a suitable Fey to school in the next couple of days. While internally calculating that an elite grade Fey will cost at least 100 federal coins, he declares that time is urgent, and he needs to cultivate all his normal grade green radishes to elite grade, then train them to get a top-tier elite grade defense type Fey. Lin Yuan felt completely drained after a whole night of spirit energy transfer, but he made it in time, thinking he should low in the spiritual creature market, since it was a mix of all sorts. He asked Genius if he was sure he wanted to come along, and the creature replied of course, then thought that telling him to stay home was useless. A bus pulled by a Fae arrived, and an announcement told passengers to wait inside the yellow line. Genius commented that this bus did not seem like the ones he knew, and Lin Yuan explained that after 100 years of spirit energy revival, spiritual creatures had replaced steel machines. The creature then said that running like this was actually pretty fast as he clung to Lin Yuan's hand. Another passenger asked Lin Yuan if he was heading to the spiritual creature market too, saying it was his lucky day. And he asked why. The passenger then asked if he had seen the news about a dimensional rift that opened a couple of days ago outside their county suburb. He explained that the Redbud Guard spent 2 days getting all the bugs that charged out of the rift under control. Lin Yuan noted that 3 teams of Redbud Guards were still keeping watch. The passenger added that the rift opened right next to a spiritual creature breeding base, causing many creatures to die or be injured, and some employees set up stalls at the market selling the leftover injured creatures. Genius realized this was how that blunt armor pig got loose. The passenger explained he snagged a blunt armor pig yesterday, and suggested they get off at the stop nearest that stall, while Lin Yuan thought seriously injured creatures were a good chance to make a fortune. Lin Yuan walked market with Genius perched on his shoulder. Genius asked Lin Yuan what creature they needed to buy and how much they could spend, and he thought about an elite-tier defensive creature. Lin Yuan estimated the price would be at least 100 federal coins, but Genius pointed out their savings were not even 20, so they would have to barter last night's upgraded green radishes and jasmine lilies. He then felt someone calling him, sensing attraction and repulsion towards spiritual creatures, and wondered if these feelings were due to his normal grade spiritual energy perception. He observed the glow of the creatures, noting that the lighter the glow, the warmer the creatures felt, and thought his affinity was broad, close to healing and support types, and plant-based creatures, meaning his affinity was defense. Genius called out to Lin Yuan, telling him to come check something out. A merchant and Genius were haggling over a creature, with Genius offering 20, and the merchant's final offer being 60. Lin Yuan told the merchant that Genius was too reckless, and the creature complained that if he had been allowed to haggle more, he could have gotten the creature for 20. Lin Yuan then asked Genius if he had ever heard of comparing prices. He observed a bonsai turtle, noting its normal level 3 defense type and normal quality, but felt it was not high enough level and too slow. Next, he looked at a shield armadillo level 1 defense type and normal quality, thinking it was not much different from a hard shell rabbit, and Genius commented it could not be counted on for protection. Genius suggested reconsidering the hard shell rabbit, but Lin Yuan asked for more time to think and to keep looking. After looking everywhere, he realized this was the only creature left. He saw a ramhorn sheep, elite level 7 type, rock quality perfect with skills guard and horn rush, and thought it was a perfect grade baby that also knew the control type skill shock horn. The ramhorn sheep's stats were displayed, showing its shock horn skill could cause paralysis. Lin Yuan offered the seller 10 for one of the ramhorn sheep, which shocked the man. The seller, covering his face, said he needed to call his wife about the offer. Genius informed Lin Yuan that ramhorn sheep go for about 50 to 90 online, and his offer was too flashy, to which he replied, "Oh right," and Genius added that he still needed to learn about bargains. The seller then stated the price was 120 federal coins, not a coin less, making Lin Yuan think it was very expensive. Lin Yuan doubted there were other defensive creatures available, and decided that in the worst case he would overpay for the ramhorn sheep for Chu Ci. Merchant announced that all beast meat was sold out, and a customer asked if they should butcher one of the badly injured beasts inside, regretting the lost opportunity. Lin Yuan became excited about the injured beasts, but Genius told him it was not the time to make braised pork. The merchant clarified that the creatures inside were not being butchered and invited interested people to come look, as only 3 were left, and buying any was a steal. Lin Yuan was surprised they were not butchering injured beasts for food, and then thought it was over with no bargains left, wondering who could heal them without a creation master. The merchant told Lin Yuan he was too late and the stall would not sell beast meat anymore, but Lin Yuan insisted he was not there for meat, and wanted to see the beasts inside internally, noting the boss seemed unstable. Lin Yuan activated his calm mind skill, causing a golden light to appear on his arm. The merchant's expression became much calmer, and he told Lin Yuan to call him Brother Yang, inviting him to follow to see the 3 badly injured creatures left. Brother Yang showed Lin Yuan 2 web-spraying spiders, noting their abdomens were torn, and they would only last 2 days, which Lin Yuan thought smelled awful. The spiders were elite level 10 poison type, and elite quality with skills like poison web spray, facing toxic web, and Lin Yuan considered them seriously valuable, noting they would have reached copper tier if not for the dimensional rift. He calculated that an uninjured one would sell for 300 federal coins online, but being poison control types with utility, they would fetch an even higher price, though now the 2 together might only go for 150 tops. Lin Yuan told Brother Yang he wanted both web-spraying spiders but lacked enough cash, and asked if he could trade creatures instead. Brother Yang thought Lin Yuan was getting his hopes up for nothing, explaining that once he was done here he planned his new breeding center and might not need what he was offering. Lin Yuan then asked about elite green radishes. Brother Yang inquired about their quality, and Lin Yuan confidently told him to check them out first. Brother Yang mentioned that elite green radishes were in high demand, but this rocky bull was his last creature, an elite level 10 rock-type epic quality Fae with guard and horn rush skills, into which he had invested much. Lin Yuan asked Brother Yang the price for the rocky bull, thinking it was nearly copper tier, and epic quality defensive and perfect for Chu Ci. Brother Yang asked if Lin Yuan was sure, as its condition was not good, and Lin Yuan replied, amazing. Lin Yuan then offered 200 federal coins. Brother Yang asked if Lin Yuan thought he could heal the rocky bull, or if a creation master was backing him. Brother Yang inquired if Lin Yuan desired all three fays, proposing elite green radishes as compensation. Lin Yuan, with a reassuring smile, promised that the green radishes would certainly not disappoint, and Genius chimed in affirming that he was a truthful person. Brother Yang then readily agreed, placing his trust in the young man, and began dismantling his stall, mentioning they would soon depart to inspect the promised green radishes. He casually noted that he possessed a Fey containment box, which would allow them to easily transport the rocky bull and the web-spraying spiders with a swift motion. He then launched a Fey containment box into the air. As the box expanded, Lin Yuan, curious, inquired about its nature, learning it was a Fey containment box, a patented ostrich logistics invention designed to store Feys by adapting their size and negating their weight. He then questioned why such a useful item had never been employed for their benefit previously, to which Brother Yang responded that his family had simply never possessed the financial means to acquire such a device. The mighty rocky bull was then observed being effortlessly drawn into the confines of the Fey containment box. Genius, utterly astonished, exclaimed that the enormous Fey had actually fit inside, finding the sight truly amazing. Brother Yang then commented that the Fey containment box itself was bronze tier, expressing a touch of sadness that the rocky bull would unfortunately never have the opportunity to ascend to that same rank. He then proceeded to summon a Tamer crown fire lizard, a formidable bronze grade 7 normal quality Fey, possessing both poison and fire types with skills such as break tooth, rolling tear, and a unique fire poison trait. He then asked Lin Yuan for his opinion on the Tamer crown fire lizard he had personally raised, and Lin Yuan, clearly impressed, exclaimed in genuine awe. Lin Yuan observed that the fire poison trait was indeed befitting of a bronze tier Fey, as it effectively introduced an additional offensive capability, and he considered it a unique chance to study such a creature at close range. Brother Yang mused that it was truly remarkable for Lin Yuan, despite his youth, to have already attained such a high level of professional Fey researcher knowledge, concluding that he was either inherently talented or guided by an expert, and that his calculated risk had certainly yielded positive results. A voice from nearby then called out to old Yang, and he responded with a questioning sound indicating his attention. The individual complained that his abrupt summoning of the Tamered crown fire lizard had startled their hard-shell rabbit and fairy Tamer, prompting him to offer an immediate apology and state his imminent departure. Brother Yang and Lin Yuan, accompanied by Keek, then mounted the Tamered crown fire lizard, and he instructed Lin Yuan to hold on tightly as they prepared to set off. The Tamered crown fire lizard then surged forward with impressive speed. Lin Yuan found himself struggling to cope with the sheer velocity, exclaiming that it was considerably faster than any thick-hooped donkey cart, and he called out for assistance. The Tamered crown fire lizard swiftly arrived at a modest building, prompting Brother Yang to remark that Lin Yuan resided much closer than he had initially anticipated. Lin Yuan smiled, informing Brother Yang that this was his inaugural ride on a bronze-tier Fey, and that his dwelling was quite simple, allowing him to sit. He pleased, while Brother Yang in turn praised his robust constitution for not succumbing to motion sickness from riding a flying Fey. Brother Yang privately considered that this humble abode hardly resembled the hidden sanctuary of a creation master, and he resolved that if the green radishes failed to meet the promised quality standards, he would regrettably have to prioritize business over their budding friendship. As he then carefully examined the green radishes, he quickly realized they were indeed elite grade, leading him to the firm conclusion that such exceptional quality could only be attained through the direct involvement of a creation master. He then exclaimed that the radishes had vastly surpassed all his expectations, recognizing them as elite quality treasures rarely offered by merchants. And Lin Yuan clarified that he had incorporated energy ore into the soil to foster well-developed root systems, thereby guaranteeing their superior quality. Brother Yang meticulously examined a freshly cut radish, observing its abundant sap, and a hopeful thought crossed his mind, wondering if his fortune was finally shifting, as this young friend had certainly not overstated their quality. He then recalled a previous encounter where he had been explicitly informed that one required heavenly treasures merely to gain an audience with a creation master. He remembered that inviting a creation master necessitated offering spiritual materials they favored, and at his current standing he had no realistic hope of acquiring such rare materials, but he now saw a path to establishing a crucial connection through this promising young friend. Lin Yuan then inquired if he was content with the green radishes, to which Brother Yang enthusiastically replied that he was exceedingly satisfied, and now prepared to discuss the pricing. Brother Yang declared that the elite grade green radishes would effortlessly fetch 30 each on StarWeb, and he then proposed his absolute maximum price of 33 per pot for a total of 100 pots, asking if Lin Yuan could supply such a quantity. Genius, visibly shocked, began mentally calculating the substantial sum of money involved for 100 pots, each priced at 33. Lin Yuan confidently assented, explaining that he required a significant quantity to enhance his spiritual energy profession level, and these green radishes presented the most convenient method for achieving that goal. Brother Yang observed Lin Yuan's remarkably calm and composed demeanor throughout the substantial transaction, concluding that he must have experienced the wider world, and that his simple attire and small shop were likely a deliberate disguise orchestrated by whoever was supporting him. He then inquired of Lin Yuan how many days he would require to prepare the entire order. Lin Yuan responded stating 7 days, explaining that each pot took an hour to cultivate plus an additional 2 days to deliver the Fei to Chu Ci, along with necessary rest time, making 7 days the absolute limit. Brother Yang was visibly overcome with emotion, feeling genuinely blessed by heaven, and witnessing his luck improve, considering this entire encounter a truly divine connection. Lin Yuan then instructed Brother Yang to collect the goods in precisely 7 days. Brother Yang, surprised, asked if he truly would not accept a deposit for the remaining 70-some pots, confirming that he possessed the necessary capital. But Lin Yuan assured him there was no need, suggesting they could settle the entire transaction. When he arrived to collect the goods at the agreed-upon time, Brother Yang agreed to return in 7 days, offering a farewell wave, and Lin Yuan inwardly acknowledged that the most mentally demanding task now lay before him. Lin Yuan then stood in the backyard, his gaze fixed upon the injured Rocky Bull. Genius inquired if the Rocky Bull would be residing with them permanently, noting that they could not possibly afford to feed such a creature. And Lin Yuan instructed her and Keek to descend, as his immediate priority was to save the Fei. Lin Yuan gently placed his hand upon the Rocky Bull, which appeared extremely weak, and he urged them to act quickly. A stream of golden energy then began to flow from his hand directly the Fei. He then offered a slight smile, making the decision to further accelerate the healing process. His hand subsequently glowed with an even more intense golden energy. The Rocky Bull became completely enveloped in the radiant golden light, emitting a distinct sound which prompted Lin Yuan to ponder the nature of this unfolding event. The Fei then became encased within a shimmering golden crystalline barrier, leading Lin Yuan to silently question if this was indeed the threshold for its advancement to bronze. Lin Yuan, with genius and sound observing nearby, intensely concentrated his energy, reassuring the Rocky Bull to persevere as they would collectively breach this transformative wall. He then channeled an even greater surge of golden energy towards the Fei. Lin Yuan then, with a sense of triumph, declared their success. The Rocky Bull had astonishingly transformed into a rhino horn iron bull, now classified as a bronze grade 1 normal quality metal type Fei, endowed with the skills Rock, Horn, and Sacrifice. A sight that caused Lin Yuan to momentarily pause. He then perceived a clear choice for an exclusive trait: Scaleskin Trekking or Pain Absorption. Realizing with surprise that he possessed the power to make this selection, Lin Yuan pondered the 3 exclusive traits: Scaleskin Trekking or Pain Absorption, finding the choice difficult as he considered trekking, which conserves stamina while running, concluding it would be mostly useless for a defensive Fei. And then he thought about Scaleskin, which would create a thick layer of scales to increase defense and potentially add some damage during charges, but felt it was still somewhat lacking, until he realized Pain Absorption could absorb part of the damage taken and convert it to healing, visualizing the Fei healing from an attack, leading him to decide that Pain Absorption would make the Fei a tank that became tougher the more it was hit, making his final choice with the Fei's information, then confirming its new exclusive trait Pain Absorption along with its skills Rock, Horn, and Sacrifice, as he considered their combined effects, and he expressed satisfaction, believing the Fei was perfect as Little Chi's first Fei to keep her safe, while Genius asked if that made Little Chi and the Rhino Horn Iron Bull a beauty and the beast combination. To which he responded that Little Chi's safety was what mattered most, than asking Genius if it was not also a beast, as he realized that not only had the Rhino Horn Iron Bull advanced, but his own spiritual power had increased as well. While Genius complained about the Fei's weight, and he explained that evolving higher tier Fei provided more spiritual power feedback, noting that breaking through to bronze tier had used up all his stamina, leaving Genius to wonder what level they could reach, and then ask how they would send the Fei to Little Chi, with Lin Yuan explaining he had used ostrich logistics and placed a direct flying order since they were in a hurry, stating they would arrive soon. And Genius excitedly asked if it could fly like sound. Then the scene shifted to a night sky with a full moon as a large winged creature flew towards the Radiance Moon Palace, where inside a grand building a voice listed ingredients: 3 portions of patchouli sprouts, 1 portion of sunken sea ebony, and 1 portion of platinum beast essence. As a green bird delivered a long vial to a man and a woman, both enveloped in a green aura, and the woman instructed the man not to ask questions before a dark crystalline object was dropped into the vial, causing a splash, and the vial began to glow brightly with pulsating green energy. Then a gloved hand pointed, and a stream of red liquid shot out, with the red liquid mixing with the green energy, generating intense pressure that forced out spiritual energy from the man and woman. As a woman identified as Moon Empress, a 5-star creation master, stated she was summoning something to evolve, while Ling Zio, City Lord of Redbud City, told Sikong, a king-tier powerhouse, not to worry, and Sikong thanked Moon Empress as a large black beast with red stripes enveloped in green energy emerged, with her directing more red energy towards the beast, which roared as the beast thrashed on the ground, causing Sikong to express concern to her, but she reassured him that it was evolving to legendary tier and would become a fantasy species, and Sikong pledged his unwavering loyalty and service, while the beast's head transformed with glowing red eyes and green energy. And the creature let out a powerful roar as its transformation continued. As a small white rabbit like Fei, the moon rabbit made a soft sound, and the transformed beast, now a black tiger-like creature with red markings, appeared distressed, with Moon Empress holding the moon rabbit, discussing the creation master selection process, noting the 3-year wait for level up exams hindered the discovery of talented masters. And Sikon then asked her if this year's Creation Master exam would allow consecutive level attempts, to which she confirmed that anyone passing the Level 1 exam within 2 hours could skip the Lifestyle Profession exams and proceed directly to the Level 2 exam, instructing him to announce it. And Sikon responded with a resolute yes, while Ling Xiao questioned if Moon Empress thought the Federation's Creation Master exams had failed to produce talented young people, implying her reform was due to their inability to comprehend will runes. But she clarified it was a personal matter, explaining that as fellow 5-star creation masters, Bamboo Lord and Chef Sovereign had taken disciples, and she did not want to fall behind them, leading Ling Xiao to realize that she was planning to take a disciple. And she also addressed the approaching dimensional tide in Redbud City's spatial-type dimensional rifts, instructing him as City Lord to diligently protect the land and people, ensuring every rift had guards and no mistakes. And Ling Xiao confirmed Redbud City would remain strong. Then the scene shifted back to Lin Yuan and Genius, flying on a large winged creature under the moon, where the pilot, an older man with sunglasses, asked Lin Yuan if he was okay, promising a smoother ride above the clouds and looking nauseous. He affirmed he was fine, with the pilot commenting that Genius, the 100 questions beast, was lively, regretting the overloaded trip prevented bringing it along, and Genius complained about sound flying every day, while it did not, but Lin Yuan reminded it that it was flying now and promised a tasty treat upon his return, and still feeling a bit unwell, he assured Genius there would always be a next time. As the pilot announced their arrival, cautioning the young man to pay attention and not be scared of heights, while they flew over a famous scenic view near Redbud City, with the pilot remarking on the beautiful moonlight, and Lin Yuan, no longer feeling sick, smiled and exclaimed that this was an experience like no other. Then he perceived something forming in his sea of consciousness, realizing with surprise that it was a will rune. As a mini classroom explained, a will rune is the essence of a certain attribute of spiritual energy, with Genius adding that updates were every Friday. Lin Yuan identified the will rune forming in his consciousness as representing mountains and rivers, considering the various types of phase it might apply to the pilot, then inquired if he was okay, and Lin Yuan confirmed he was fine, asking how much longer until they reached Redbud City. He explained they would probably arrive by morning, certainly not before dawn, because he had lowered their speed earlier due to the young man's initial dizziness. Lin Yuan told him not to worry and to proceed at full speed, to which the pilot simply responded with an affirmative. Meanwhile, at a bustling school, students were discussing the rescheduled Fey contracting and combat practice, with one wondering aloud why it had been moved up so significantly. Another student explained it was due to the selection for the Redbud 100 Prodigies, an event that had accelerated all class curricula, and a third confirmed their friend in another school had also come. Male teacher then explained that the event encompassed both third-year combat practice and first-year practical combat drills, stating that after contracting their phase, first-year students would spar with third-year students at a practice level. A blonde student expressed her nervousness about fighting third years, then turned to Chu Ci asking if she was contracting a gray armored beetle. Chu Ci confirmed that she was indeed a close-up view, then revealed the gray armored beetle itself. In a combat match already underway, a large boar-like Fey aggressively attacked a small agile squirrel-like Fey. The teacher announced that the first-year student's flying squirrel had escaped the arena, thereby granting the win to the third-year student in match 8. A female student complained about the perceived unfairness of first-year students having to fight experienced seniors, then turned to Chu Ci, telling her it was her turn next. And to demonstrate her capabilities, the teacher then inquired if both contestants were prepared for match 9. A male student named Feng Lixing confidently replied that he was ready. Other students began discussing Feng Lixing's influential relatives within the Master Union, and his strong ambition for the Redbud 100 Prodigies, also mentioning whispers about Chu Sisfei. Feng Lixing internally considered the first-year students as mere stepping stones to boost his win rate, all part of his grand plan to become the Moon Empress disciple. He then openly remarked that Chu Ci, being a first-year, planned to contract a gray armored beetle, and thus stood no chance, blaming her poor family situation for what he perceived as a waste of her talent. Chu Ci held her Fey close, determined not to give up even though it was just a gray armored beetle. She declared she was ready just as someone called her name. Chu Sis, teacher, holding a yellow spotted dog on a leash, rushed forward, calling out to her student. The teacher told Chu Ci that she could not allow her talent to be wasted on a gray armored beetle, offering her the yellow spotted dog instead. But then Lin Yuan interrupted, telling them to wait. Chu Ci looked up in surprise as Lin Yuan descended from above, carried by a majestic large bird-like Fey. Lin Yuan thanked the teacher for her kindness and announced that he had brought the very Fey Chu Ci was going to contract, which greatly surprised her. He told Chu Ci he had made it just in time, urging her to trust him and contract the Fey he was offering, which was contained within a small box. The teacher then asked if the Fey was reliable, suggesting they could still try the stubborn yellow spotted dog if it proved otherwise. Feng Lixing laughed mockingly from the side. He then declared that any Fey would do, casting a disdainful glance at Chu Ci and Lin Yuan. Feng Lixing continued, stating it truly did not matter if it was a gray armored beetle or a yellow spotted dog. As he began to prepare to summon his own Fey, he boasted that no one could possibly beat his Power King beetle, which he had been raising since it was young, revealing its impressive stats as a bronze tier grade 1 elite quality Fey, possessing skills like power in the giant horns and reckless ramp. The teacher remarked that it was indeed a huge Power King beetle and already bronze tier, acknowledging its formidable strength, while Lin Yuan simply looked on. Chu Ci then asked Lin Yuan if the item he had given her was a bronze tier Fey containment box, Questioning how their family had acquired so much money, even asking if he had sold their shop. Lin Yuan gently told her not to overthink things, and instead to focus on what was directly in front of her, assuring her that he believed in her. And she replied that she understood. Chu Ci, holding the containment box, firmly stated that she would be fine. She then activated the containment box, determined not to let Lin Yuan's efforts and feelings go to waste. A bright light emanated from the box, and with it a contract was swiftly established. A large, powerful rhino horn iron bull appeared, causing Chu Ci to exclaim that she had never seen one before, noting its immense size and strength like steel. Feng Lixing sarcastically complimented the impressive entrance, but then quickly dismissed it, saying Chu Ci did not realize how much real combat experience truly mattered, and that her family had simply wasted money on the iron bull. Chu Ci, standing confidently atop her rhino horn iron bull, declared they would soon see who truly lost. The teacher exclaimed that it was a bronze tier rhino horn iron bull with thorough atavism, ranking among the very best defensive phase at bronze tier, with its horn alone worth 700 federal coins. But Lin Yuan quickly told her not to just evaluate it by price, attributing her reaction to an occupational hazard of being a spiritual material analyst. Feng Lixing's Power King Beetle charged directly at Chu Ci's rhino horn iron bull, and he mockingly stated that her iron bull was merely a defensive fey and utterly incapable of attack. He then boasted that he would demonstrate to her the true combat power of a strong offensive type. Fei, the Power King Beetle, then unleashed a powerful giant horn ram attack. Chu Ci, positioned on her rhino horn iron bull, commanded it to hold steady as it braced itself for the impending impact. Feng Lixing observed that his attack had barely missed, acknowledging that Chu Ci possessed some talent to be able to assist her Fei with spiritual energy. Immediately after contracting it, the teacher expressed relief that they were not knocked off the field, but worried that Chu Ci had been too rash and needed more combat experience. Before pausing in thought, Lin Yuan considered that if Chu Ci had become familiar with the rhino horn iron bull's skills the very moment she contracted it, then her initial attack was likely a tactical probe of the opponent. The Power King Beetle pursued the rhino horn iron bull, which was running in circles, prompting Feng Lixing to wonder what Chu Ci was doing. Thinking the large iron bull should not be able to maintain such a pace, Feng Lixing, with crossed arms, internally called them idiots, wondering why a strong offensive Fei would begin moving to find the best opportunity for a fatal strike. He concluded that Chu Ci was attempting to find the perfect moment for a deadly blow, addressing her internally as little girl. Power King Beetle's eyes began to glow red, and Feng Lixing asked Chu Ci if she could possibly imagine what she was about to face. The Power King Beetle charged once more, kicking up a cloud of dust and debris. As it moved, Chu Ci called out to her rhino horn iron bull. A look of concern etched upon her face. Students remarked on the powerful ram attack, identifying it as the school's famous one-hit kill offensive Fei. Little Cheese teacher then expressed her concern, noting that although the rhino horn iron bull was known for its iron shell, Chu Ci was already channeling spiritual energy to stabilize its condition. She continued, stating that even if it withstood the initial hit, it would eventually be worn down by continuous attacks, questioning why the school allowed such an unfair match for a first year against a third year. Feng Lixing interjected, assuring them it would be fine, explaining that the skill had been chosen specifically for this kind of situation. Chu Ci then declared that now was the time her rhino horn iron bull activated its exclusive trait, pain absorption. Other students reacted with surprise, asking what had happened and observing that the spiritual energy around the Fei changed as its wounds healed, wondering if it was its skill. Little Cheese teacher explained that pain absorption was a rare exclusive skill, one that absorbed part of the damage received and converted it into life force. Feng Lixing observed that Chu Ci, despite this being her first real battle and first time seeing the rhino horn iron bull, could control the situation and seize the opportunity. He dismissed the skill, calling the iron bull merely a tougher punching bag, and ordered the Power King Beetle to keep attacking. The rhino horn iron bull continued to take hits, yet its health had not decreased at all. Students commented that Chu Ci's rhino horn iron bull was simply taking the hits. Little Cheese teacher questioned why the rhino horn iron bull had no counterattack skill, and why Chu Ci was only taking hits without fighting back, asking Feng Lixing if he was even her brother, to which he replied that Chu Ci must have her own plan due to her affinity with defensive phase. Feng Lixing then commanded the Power Beetle to decide the match with one strike, using its giant horn ram with maximum force. The Power King Beetle launched a powerful glowing attack towards the rhino horn iron bull. Chu Ci shouted that now was the time, telling her rhino horn iron bull to get ready and use rock horn. A student questioned if using the terrain directly was allowed, while Feng Lixing praised the effective use of the environment. He called it dirty tricks, ordering the Power King Beetle to break through them. The Power King Beetle charged forward, surrounded by purple energy shattering rocks in its path. Chu Ci urged her rhino horn iron bull to keep going and use rock horn. The Power King Beetle slammed into the rhino horn iron bull. A student exclaimed in surprise that the big iron bull had held out. Another student questioned why they were evenly matched now when the Power King Beetle clearly had the advantage. Before Little Cheese teacher explained that the Power King Beetle's giant horn ram was a reckless attack, one that disregarded its own injuries. And facing the rhino horn iron bull's defense, each attack had also caused damage to the Power King Beetle itself. She added that the Power King Beetle was likely trained to pursue maximum attack power and precise attack targeting, thus neglecting the possibility of its Attacks being blocked by same-tier phase, concluding that these were all knowledge points from their textbook. Feng Lixing thought that this high-attack, high-agility training method was meant to control and suppress opponents, ending battles quickly, but it failed if it could not defeat the opponent quickly. A student exclaimed that the Power King beetle had slipped, thinking luck was on Chu Sis' side. Little Chi's teacher corrected them, stating, "It was not luck, as insect-type phase could not match the rhino horn iron bull's body balance during prolonged struggles, and the contractor's mental state also affected the phase condition," reminding them these were textbook points. Feng Lixing cursed, frustrated that a first-year contracting a bronze-tier Fei was now using a defensive-type Fei to block an offensive phase. Attacks, feeling that heaven was screwing him over, the Power King beetle, with red eyes, looked up at Feng Lixing. The Power King beetle continued its assault, striking the rhino horn iron bull Chu Ci, and Little Chi's teacher watched as the Power King beetle attacked. Chu Ci commanded her rhino horn iron bull to keep using rock horn on the ground. The rhino horn iron bull used rock horn, creating a large rock formation that struck the Power King beetle. A student gasped in shock as the Power King beetle fell to the edge of the field, declaring the match decided. The announcer declared first-year Chu Ci the winner, and she sighed in relief as students cheered. Little Chi's teacher praised Feng Lixing, saying she had not expected him to be so good, realizing that using rock horn multiple times had accumulated enough rocks for the final powerful attack. While Feng Lixing told her to calm down, Chu Ci ran to Feng Lixing, calling him brother, and he congratulated her, saying he had seen everything. She asked him where the money had come from, if he had sold their shop without money, how he would treat his illness, and if he had thought about his own health. Feng Lixing smiled, asking how that could be when his illness was cured and business was booming now, making her question if it was really true. Little Chi's teacher interrupted, stating that time was tight, and the school hoped to recommend Chu Ci directly for the Redbud 100 Prodigies preliminaries due to her talent, and Feng Lixing acknowledged that she had mentioned this before. She explained that the Redbud 100 Prodigies selection was the most basic regional selection, leading to qualification for the Radiance 100 sequence selection, which was a truly elite national stage, and despite Chu Ci being only in her first year, her talent was enough for the preliminaries, so the school would do its best to pour educational resources into her, expecting her to grow quickly. Feng Lixing thanked her for taking care of Chu Ci and assured her he would fully support Chu Sis' phase and resources from now on, and Little Chi's teacher told Chu Ci she did not have class this afternoon and could show her brother around school. Chu Ci asked her teacher about the yellow spotted dog, and the teacher replied that it was fine and she would raise it herself. She asked Feng Lixing if he had not told her he could sense spiritual energy now, and what else he needed to prove, asking if he trusted his brother, but he insisted he needed to see it with his own eyes to feel at ease, also questioning if the rhino horn iron bull was really expensive. He told her to see for herself, showing her his phone, and she gasped at the many zeros, asking if he really made money, to which he replied that after recovering his spiritual energy, he gained some talent as a creation master, took on a job, and made money with that. He told her to study with peace of mind, participate in the selection, and get a good ranking, assuring her she did not need to work part-time anymore, and that he was also preparing to take the Creation Master exam, which made her exclaim that was great. He suggested they celebrate with something good to eat. She immediately requested hot pot, and he agreed, telling her to order whatever she wanted. As they walked away, Little Chi's teacher offered a meat bun to the yellow spotted dog, which barked in response. Large black bird with red markings flew swiftly through the blue sky. As Lin Yuan thought that Little Chi's studies were on track, so he needed to work harder since the exam was not easy, he was seen reading intently, considering the need to buy beginner books for both Fei researcher and spiritual material analyst, which felt like a substantial undertaking, hoping genius could help out. And in a quiet moment of reflection, he recalled Little Chi's recent battle victory, understanding that her stable spiritual energy reserves were the true foundation of her success, leading him to realize his current spiritual energy reserves were simply not enough to be considered a real spiritual energy professional. And he mused that if he truly wanted to level up Mobius, its exclusive trait, Lock Spirit, was proving to be quite demanding. A close-up revealing his determined eye as he pondered how he absolutely had to start from normal. Grade 1 Lin Yuan, now riding on the back of a large black bird, found himself flying rapidly through a mountainous area, asking why it was moving so fast all of a sudden, to which the pilot, wearing goggles, replied that he was already late bringing him there and would not risk bad review by not showcasing the black-winged falcon's top speed, prompting Lin Yuan to mention he still had things to buy, suggesting he could order on StarWeb for same-day delivery. Observing the black bird looking utterly exhausted with its tongue hanging out, Lin Yuan then asked if his bird was truly okay, but the pilot assured him it was fine, then stating the trip went smoothly, everything he wanted had been delivered, reminding him to give a good review, to which Lin Yuan gratefully agreed. Lin Yuan then stood next to a stack of large delivery boxes, thinking that online shopping was incredibly fast and truly the way to go in this era, realizing he definitely needed to set up an online store so he might not even need to go to the Fey market anymore, which would be much safer. And with a wide smile, he entered a room announcing his return to Genius and Sound. Sound immediately asked why he was just getting back now, and Genius added that they had missed him so very much. As Genius suddenly made a quick decisive movement, Lin Yuan hugged Sound, while Genius stood with crossed arms looking quite angry, stating that he did not care, and was indeed very angry. Sound tried to calm Genius, asking him not to be angry since he did fly with him for a long time today, and Lin Yuan added that next time he would make it up to him, but Genius insisted he had the right to be angry for 3 days, and a few good words would not make him feel better. Lin Yuan smiled, thinking Genius was rather childish, but it was a good thing he had come prepared, as he then presented Genius with a burger-like item, calling it a special apology gift ordered just for him. Lin Yuan watched as Genius sniffed the gift, exclaiming that it smelled so good, and he simply could not resist, then thinking he wanted to eat it, but would not, as that would shorten his angry time. Lin Yuan told Genius he would buy it for him every day if he liked it, and Sound then asked about its own gift. He then presented Sound with an exclusive elite-grade green radish in a pot, declaring it its special food from now on, to which Sound exclaimed that he had not let it eat it yesterday. Genius asked Lin Yuan if he was not eating, and he replied that they should eat first while he sorted out the goods. Lin Yuan stood in a room now filled with many potted plants, commenting that he really did not expect there would be this many. Sound pointed out one particular plant, saying it seemed different, and Lin Yuan asked where, wanting to see it closely. He read a promotional card, realizing he had received a free same-grade jasmine lily for buying 100 pots of green radish, and wondered if there were always promotions like this. Lin Yuan then remembered that the phase most suitable for him were healing, support, and plant types, and he held up the jasmine lily, confirming it was indeed a healing-type plant fey with a healing skill at normal grade. Lin Yuan told Genius not to come upstairs with Sound for now, and to take care of those green radishes, and Genius replied that it understood. He flexed his arm, saying, "All right, let me." Lin Yuan then crouched down and activated his exclusive skill Lock Spirit on the plant. He acknowledged that his mental power was not at its best since he had not rested, but it did not matter, as there was no turning back once he started. And with a soft glow emanating from his hand over the plant, the contract was established, and Lock Spirit was complete. Lin Yuan felt a great sense of relief that there was no mental power drain unlike before, and realized that as long as he kept infusing spiritual energy, he could do consecutive level-ups. Next, 1 hour later, the Jasmine Lily was now a normal grade Lock Spirit Elite Grade 1 Elite quality, with the skill healing that recovers external injuries, and Lin Yuan happily stated that leveling was complete. He then thought about Mobius, whose stats were displayed, showing its Fey level as Elite Grade. Fey type as Space Mystery Comprehension quality as Elite quality, with skills True Data and Calm Mind, and the exclusive trait Lock Spirit. Lin Yuan exclaimed that Mobius' level really had gone up, and he observed Mobius' Lock Spirit space, noting it seemed like it had doubled in size from last time, as a voice then asked Lin Yuan if he could hear it. While he looked with a focused expression, Lin Yuan smiled, replying that he could hear Mobius crystal clear, and apologized for the wait. Chu Sis Mini Classroom then explained that when spiritual energy professionals establish contracts with Fays, it consumes mental power, and a person can contract 2 to 3 Fays in a lifetime, with the known limit being 5. It showed a comparison. A person contracting a Fey normally consuming mental power, and Lin Yuan contracting a Fey using Mobius Lock Spirit trait, which achieves the same effect without consuming the contractor's mental power, as the number of contracted Feys is determined by Mobius level up count. It then further explained that the price for Lin Yuan contracting Mobius was that for the first 10 years his spiritual energy perception was reduced to 0, and his mental power became extremely weak. Lin Yuan shrugged, stating that he was actually still not doing that great now. Lin Yuan asks Mobius if it can talk, now curious about its newfound abilities, and it replies that it could once it reached elite grade, a significant development for their connection. He then asks if the space they were in was its special ability, and it confirms it is its Lock Spirit space, which he can remodel and store Fays. And Lin Yuan then inquires about the pool, noting he feels no spiritual energy from it, and it confirms it is just ordinary. He looks surprised, questioning its purpose with a puzzled expression. Mobius explains that water attracts wealth, prompting him to comment on its peculiar personality. He then drops something into the pool, a small object disappearing beneath the surface. A glowing green energy stone is seen in the water, and Mobius states that even low-quality energy stones can steadily release spiritual energy. It explains that in the outside environment spiritual energy escapes, but within the Lock Spirit space it will not escape, and will become very dense over time. Lin Yuan asks if strengthening Phase here would be many times faster, and Mobius confirms it, adding that the time he can use this place will also increase. He reflects that all of this needs a huge amount of federal coins to support it, and even low-grade energy stones are not cheap, making money an urgent necessity. Mobius begins to fade, stating it can only maintain this clear communication state for half an hour a day, and its time is up, prompting Lin Yuan to ask what is wrong. It apologizes to Lin Yuan for being the first Fey he contracted, which crippled his mental power and spiritual energy perception for 10 years. He reassures Mobius, saying those 10 years also helped him figure out a lot of things, understanding the path he needed to take. Lin Yuan adds that he has found hope again, though there is still a long road ahead filled with challenges. He smiles, stating that the trials are only just beginning, as he stretches his wrists ready for what lay ahead. Lin Yuan then sleeps soundly, accompanied by Genius and Sound, finding peace after his revelations. He is later seen working hard, strengthening a plant Fey with spiritual energy, diligently focusing on his task. Genius uses a computer while Sound sings atop its head, a harmonious scene of quiet productivity. Lin Yuan continues his diligent work, strengthening more plant Feys, pouring his energy into their growth. He looks out the window, realizing how late it has become. The world outside now dark and quiet. He sees Genius and Sound sleeping peacefully on his bed. Their small forms a comforting sight. He gently covers them with a blanket, thinking about collecting spiritual materials, planning his next steps. Lin Yuan then turns off the light and closes the door, leaving them to their slumber. He works on a spider like Faye, stating that all his leveling and training during this period were not wasted, as these two web-spraying spiders can still be saved, their potential waiting to be unlocked. 7 days later, Brother Yang stands outside a building, a mix of hope and anxiety on his face. He prays for his gamble to pay off and turn things around, hoping to be blessed with 3 lifetimes over a desperate plea. Brother Yang reflects on the difficulty of producing 100 pots of green radish in such a short time, and the low odds of finding a Fey shop backed by a creation master. His chances slim. He looks inside the shop, appearing surprised by what he sees within. Lin Yuan greets Brother Yang, saying he figured it would be him, and Brother Yang replies that he agreed readily, and is in a rush, eager to see the results. Lin Yuan tells him to go look for himself, while Brother Yang secretly wishes for him to have finished at least 30 pots for his breeding base to have a future, a minimum requirement. Lin Yuan proudly shows him many pots of green radishes, stating there are 76 more. Brother Yang is shocked that he actually did it, his disbelief evident. He cries tears of joy, thanking Lin Yuan for saving his life, but Lin Yuan says it is not that serious or exaggerated, trying to downplay the drama. Brother Yang insists Lin Yuan name a price, promising not to haggle, and he suggests sticking to the original price, a fair deal. Brother Yang is overwhelmed with emotion, thinking he has finally met his destined benefactor, and would swear brotherhood on the spot, while Lin Yuan looks confused by the intensity. Brother Yang agrees to buy them all at the original price, and Lin Yuan asks why he is so jumpy today, sensing his excitement. Brother Yang announces he is off to get his breeding base running and invites Lin Yuan to visit, who agrees and tells him to take care. A new partnership forged. Lin Yuan reflects on how happy Brother Yang is, realizing being a creation master is truly a good profession, bringing joy to others. Lin Yuan notes it has been a long time since the shop was empty and asks Genius if it figured out the star web registration. He asked it to learn the other day, curious about its progress. He hears a sound and rushes down the stairs, asking what happened, a sudden alarm in his voice. He sees Genius, who has gained weight, and asks if its fur just got fluffier, noticing a change in its appearance. He then realizes it has leveled up to elite grade, and Genius asks if he is surprised, a proud gleam in its eyes. Lin Yuan asks if it did not notice it got smarter, and Genius replies that it thought it was just its natural genius. A charmingly confident answer. Genius states it can now remember the equivalent of 5 energy cookies, and he notes its favorite food has changed from braised pork to energy cookies, then says he will need a lot of help from it from now on, recognizing its enhanced abilities. It confidently says to leave it to him, and Lin Yuan asks where Sound is, noticing the absence of the other Fey. A voice cries out that this is bad, alarming him with its distressed tone. Sound appears, asking if it shrank or is sick, but he says it just leveled up and offers to check, reassuring the little creature. He reads Sound's stats, noting the skills are both for fighting and wonders why none of them are related to singing, and why it leveled up to wind type instead, a surprising development. Genius interrupts, saying they did some secret testing, and presents a wooden board with holes revealing their mischief. Lin Yuan deduces the mark was caused by Sound's spike, and it confirms they were playing with it while he was out, then suggests testing it again to see if its power went up. Eager for another demonstration, he warns Genius that it is standing too close to the target, and it is dangerous as Sound prepares to use its skill, a powerful force about to be unleashed. Genius confidently states that Sound's aim is great and tells it to fire, trusting its companion implicitly. Sound's attack narrowly misses Genius, who exclaims it was too dangerous, a moment of genuine fright. Lin Yuan smiles, saying now they can see how turbulence works. Intrigued by the new ability, Sound unleashes a powerful gust of wind, scattering debris, demonstrating its newfound strength. Lin Yuan is impressed, noting it is far stronger than when it was at normal grade, confirming Sound is a bona fide battle type, a formidable companion indeed. Lin Yuan accepted a package from a delivery person, signing for the goods as requested. Holding the package, he was asked by Genius if he wanted to see its skill, but Lin Yuan declined, explaining that Sound was tired, and its own skill was not as interesting. He then told Sound to rest properly, adding that Genius was a different type of beast altogether, and would be put to use soon enough. With sparkling eyes, Genius eagerly asked what he needed him to do. Lin Yuan, still holding the package, then asked Genius to first feed the 2 web-spraying spiders. Genius appeared startled by a large spider, telling it not to bite him, and Lin Yuan observed that being afraid of spiders was an instinct for most pets. With a green glow around his hand, Lin Yuan told Genius he was just teasing him, explaining that he needed its help with documentation tasks from now on, as the spiders hissed and rustled nearby. Genius then pointed out that the spiders were glowing with different colors, and Lin Yuan explained that they were about to advance. Genius expressed surprise that both spiders were advancing at the same time, asking when he had become so good, and Lin Yuan clarified that like the rhino horn iron bull, they had already been ready to evolve after being injured, naturally progressing. Once they had replenished enough life force, 2 hours later the cocoons around the spiders began to crack and peel. The 2 spiders emerged, one having evolved with a prehistoric reversion and fierce poison, while the other had undergone a spiritual mutation, gaining sticky webs and stronger control. Lin Yuan expressed surprise at their completely different evolution directions, noting he had not expected it, and that Brother Yang had indeed built a good foundation. Genius asked if they were selling these creatures in the Redbud Star web shop, and Lin Yuan, walking down the stairs, replied that they should check it out. He then asked why the shop needed a name, and Genius explained he had left it specifically so Lin Yuan could have some input. Lin Yuan saw the suggested shop name You Will Not Lose Out Face Shop, and the username Deep Mountain Forest as Genius defended the name, saying it was simple, easy to understand, and catchy. With Genius on his shoulder, Lin Yuan worked at a desk, noting that after installing the Star web receiver, they still needed to test the Star web card, telling Genius not to rush as he was almost done. He scanned a purple card which made a beep sound. Lin Yuan held the card, impressed by the cool scanning effect. The card was shown scanning the potted plants, causing them to glow with a blue grid. Lin Yuan looked at the evolved spiders, and Genius asked if they also needed scanning, to which Lin Yuan replied that those two were the most important. And also, Lin Yuan, holding the card, exclaimed to Genius, "Take this, where do you think you are going?" And Genius perceived it as a sneak attack. Lin Yuan found himself in a virtual space, asking where he was, and Genius explained that the complicated application procedures for Star Web were not for a regular online shop. Lin Yuan remarked that the space was large, almost twice the size of their home, and Genius clarified that Star Web was a world of data presented in virtual image form. Genius then asked why no home decor had been moved in, and Lin Yuan, with a slight smirk, explained that decorations on Star Web cost extra money. Lin Yuan commented on the realistic reason, then figured out how to pull up the menu bar using the card. He suggested they explore the Star Web community directly, and pressed a button labeled Move. They were now in a bustling virtual street with other users, and Genius noted that the others did not look off. Genius pointed out a furniture and decor shop, and Lin Yuan agreed they might as well buy some furniture to decorate their shop. A robot greeted them, offering to help find furniture, and Genius expressed surprise that the big metal block talked, to which Lin Yuan explained it was an intelligent robot. Lin Yuan requested 2 flower stands and a 1.5-meter high counter, and the robot asked him to follow it. They were shown various furniture items with high prices. Lin Yuan looked shocked, realizing he could not afford to buy anything for now and considering making the items by hand. He then asked the robot if it had the cheapest chairs, explaining he needed a few for customers, and the robot directed him to follow. Lin Yuan saw a chair priced at 15,000, and Genius attempted to haggle, but the robot stated that it was beyond its authority. Lin Yuan, with Genius on his shoulder, concluded that haggling did not work and reassured Genius that it was not his fault since the other party was a robot. Lin Yuan suggested checking out the bookstore one last time, and when Genius asked why, he reminded him that he needed to buy textbooks for the Creation Master exam. In the bookstore, surrounded by shelves of books, Lin Yuan told Genius he was leaving the task of finding books to him. Genius listed various book titles, and the robot confirmed 327 books based on his needs, including a free catalog, asking if he wanted them packaged. Lin Yuan asked to package them as a knowledge chip and send them to his address, and the robot then requested he sign a confidentiality agreement, stating the books would not be used by others and he would be held responsible for leaking information. Lin Yuan, holding a glowing blue rectangle, declared that business was done, and it was time to head back, adding that the intelligent robots were nice, and they should consider getting one to watch the shop. Lin Yuan and Genius reappeared in their shop, with Lin Yuan still holding the blue rectangle, and Genius exclaiming, "Wow!" A young woman in a bee hat standing with her arms crossed asked if Lin Yuan was the owner of this little shop, adding that his shop did not even have a single intelligent robot, making it seem like he was an idiot for not knowing when he would be back. Lin Yuan, smiling, apologized, explaining that his shop had just opened today, and he had not had time to prepare an intelligent robot. Yet while internally noting her arrogance, the young woman then asked Lin Yuan how much he was selling the 2 spiders for. Lin Yuan looked surprised, pointing to his face, as if questioning being called Mr. The young woman, still calling Lin Yuan uncle, asked him to introduce the 2 spiders, and their cost, warning him not to quote too high since his shop would not lose out. Lin Yuan, smiling, explained that the smaller web-spraying spider with slender legs had the exclusive trait of sticky web, to which she responded that it did not even have poison. He then added that if she wanted poison, the larger green web-spraying spider had the exclusive trait of fierce poison, which startled her. The young woman fell to the floor, asking why the floor was so hard, revealing her bald head as her bee hat fell off. Lin Yuan internally noted that she had no hair and looked like a boiled egg, but he reminded himself to maintain professional ethics as a shop owner. Genius, however, loudly exclaimed that she looked like a boiled egg, causing Lin Yuan to look shocked. The young woman, embarrassed, covered her head and screamed, realizing her baldness was exposed. Lin Yuan immediately apologized to her, telling Genius that he was wrong, and to apologize, which Genius did, saying he ran his mouth. The young woman coughed, stating that she needed to make a statement. She explained that her baldness was an aftereffect of treatment after being stung by a ghost shadow bristle spider, assuring them her hair would grow back in a few months, and that she was not born like a boiled egg. Lin Yuan thought he had heard of the ghost shadow bristle spider before, possibly in Chapter 1, while Genius still silently thought she looked like a boiled egg. He then asked her if she perhaps liked spider-type phase, which made her question him. Lin Yuan, smiling, repeated his question, asking if she was a customer. She emphatically denied liking spider-type phase, asking who would like such big hairy bugs, which made him ask why she was still looking for spider-type phase, and even working with a dangerous one like the ghost shadow bristle spider. Lin Yuan realized there were cases of mismatched affinity where someone hated spider phase but could only contract them. While she looked downcast, He further considered that arachnids were a broad Fey category offering many development routes. He also noted that she received effective treatment from contact with the ghost shadow bristle spider, indicating her financial resources. Lin Yuan thought that if it were him he would have told her to bury herself first, and she confirmed that he had indeed suggested exactly that. He then looked surprised, asking why she did not want either of the spiders, as combat and poison were popular directions and both had exclusive traits already. The young woman firmly stated that the exclusive traits of these two web-spraying spiders were too weak. Lin Yuan looked surprised. As the young woman stated, she wanted to contract a spider-type Fae with really strong control ability, making him realize these two were still too weak for her. She clarified that it was not about how strong they were, but that she wanted a web-spraying spider whose exclusive trait was transparent web, and she would even custom order epic quality ones, which Lin Yuan internally noted was an extremely rare and picky exclusive trait that might not appear even after 20 or 30 web-spraying spiders. He then had a flash of inspiration, thinking he might actually be able to pull it off. Lin Yuan asked her how many custom epic web-spraying spiders she wanted if he had a way to get them, which surprised her. The young woman, still calling him uncle, asked if he thought she was naive and easy to fool, or if he believed her just because he was handsome. Lin Yuan, internally flustered by being called handsome, decided to take the job not because she flattered him, but because he could not stand seeing a sickly girl banging into walls everywhere, sighing that he was too kind. He then waved her off, telling her to suit herself and that maybe after checking 100 shops she would find the spider she wanted, then told Genius to come on and let us go. The young woman grabbed his sleeve, stopping him. She asked if he really had a way, and he replied that if she did not believe him there was nothing he could do. She then suggested they add each other as star web friends, first promising to buy them if he managed to get custom web spraying spiders for her. Lin Yuan, internally thinking he had plenty of experience dealing with this kind of customer by using retreat as advance, told her there was no need, and she could just come back if she wanted to buy something. She pleaded with him not to be mad, explaining that her shop did not even have any decor, so she was afraid of being scammed, and promised not to haggle if he could custom make them, which made him agree to add each other. They exchanged Starweb friend cards. She laughed at his Starweb name, Deep Mountain Forest, calling it a dumb name, which he scoffed at. He then countered by asking if Cloudstream was not a dumb name for fish that do not live in Cloudstream, which shocked her. She insisted she said Cloudstream, and he absolutely called her dumb, then reminded him that he was the important shop that would custom make web-spraying spiders for her, while she was the important customer paying him. She then paid him 10 Radiance coins, stating she had paid and would wait for his good news. Lin Yuan realized she was loaded, paying 2 Radiance coins per custom web-spraying spider, and paying in full for 5 without blinking, exclaiming that it was a lot of money. Genius asked if it was the customer's full price deposit, and Lin Yuan explained that the funds were held in escrow by Starweb, and he still needed to see the price of web-spraying spiders. The shop balance showed 3.4 Radiance coins, then decreased to 2.4 Radiance coins as the cost for 5 elite web-spraying spiders was 1 Radiance coin. Genius reacted with shock, asking how they suddenly lost almost 1/3 of their money, noting that Brother Yang's 3.3 Radiance coins did not even get to warm the account. Lin Yuan thought that if they followed the normal training route, he would have to spend much more on spiritual materials, so it was no wonder the boiled egg handed over 10 Radiance coins so cleanly. He then considered that spending like this on a small star web shop barely broke even, but now that they had bought an intelligent robot to keep watch, the shop would not need as much hands-on work, although they really needed to save, as running the shop would cost a lot more down the road. Genius questioned if they really broke even, pointing out that not a single customer came in before they left, and the old model robot he bought looked pretty dumb. But Lin Yuan decided to look on the bright side, stating that as long as they did the boiled eggs order well, they would have big funding in the future. Genius said she was going to find sound to play, and Lin Yuan waved at her, telling her not to worry, and that he would earn it back soon. Lin Yuan, now glowing with spiritual energy, decided it was time to ask the little bird. He asked Mobius if she was there about the next Fae for his lock spirit, and Mobius replied that it would not do. Mobius told him that money was important, but he needed to improve his own strength if he wanted to earn faster and more. Lin Yuan, smiling, agreed that money was important, but only by getting stronger could he earn more and faster. He then told Mobius that he had thought about the next Fae to lock spirit for days, and still wanted her opinion, to which she told him to go ahead. Lin Yuan then revealed his choice for the next Fae to lock spirit, a spirit-absorbing goldfish. The street was bustling with people, and a voice wondered if little Mo would be so easygoing. Mobius agreed with Lin Yuan's choice of a spirit-absorbing goldfish, though she warned him that it would require 10 times more spiritual energy to advance than other Fae of the same tier, to which he simply replied that was fine. He then stated that he could not be completely sure, but felt he must protect her with his own mental power when hers was weak, adding that it was his responsibility to find a way to help her recover quickly. She responded that it was then entirely up to him. Lin Yuan decided to try the search function on the star web first. He was impressed that a simple search for spirit-absorbing goldfish shops brought up a whole street, but noted most only had normal grade ones, and wished for elite grade. He then asked if he could directly filter for the highest level shops. A huge storefront immediately appeared, filled with holographic fish. He observed that the shop was nearly 800 square meters with a layout and product display design worth copying. A woman shop owner Jo Jackson then asked what she could help him find, and Lin Yuan felt relieved it was not an intelligent robot. He told her he wanted to buy a spirit-absorbing goldfish, and she directed him to follow her. She explained that the smaller normal-grade fish in the pool were 0 radiance and cost 5 radiance coins, while the larger one was elite grade and twice the size, and he thought that despite the expense, its ability to restore spiritual aura made it worthwhile. He mused on the high cost, noting a normal-grade spirit-absorbing goldfish was more expensive than an elite-grade web-spraying spider, making an elite one unaffordable. The shop owner clarified that these were not good breeds and better ones would start at 7 radiance coins, adding that normal-grade ones were all the same price because they were hard to evolve and creation masters rarely took commissions for them. Lin Yuan thanked her for the advice, and she told him to call her sister Xin, suggesting that picking a spirit-absorbing goldfish depended on his own eye. He understood and considered choosing a dragon eye, hoping it might awaken a dragon bloodline through atavism. He wondered if he could be as lucky as he was with the iron bull, knowing he would have to test if the lock spirit space could accelerate the goldfish's leveling. He pointed at a dark fish and declared it was the one. The shop owner asked if he needed anything else, and Lin Yuan thought about testing the spiritual energy capacity of the pool in his lock spirit space. He decided to buy some energy ore as well, and after she offered a discount of 500 federal coins per jin for a large purchase, he agreed to start with 20 jin. Sister Xin reacted with shock at the mention of 20 jin. Lin Yuan confirmed he just needed to tap his star card to pay, and she replied that Ostrich Logistics would deliver it to his registered address. Thinking he must be a major client with such a large consumption volume, she then recommended butterfly shells for promoting Fey advancement if he was thinking of how to raise the spirit-absorbing goldfish, and he thanked her, saying she thought of everything. He saw his balance drop from 0.9 radiance coins to 0, noting that this should be enough food for the spirit-absorbing goldfish for 3 to 5 months. Sister Xin suggested they add each other on StarWeb so he could contact her directly for future needs, which he accepted as an honor, and she thought it excellent for ordering rare spiritual materials. Lin Yuan started to say he would like to ask her about something, and she guessed he would want more energy or butterfly shells and a new spirit-absorbing goldfish. He confirmed he would need more energy ore but added that low-grade stuff was enough, and she asked if low-grade was fine. He knew that higher-grade energy ore was purer and only needed for normal or elite-grade Fey, but wondered how big the breeding base would need to be with such consumption. Sister Xin, smiling, thought about securing him as a steady customer, and then offered a special service for old clients, asking if he was interested, and he eagerly asked her to tell him more. She explained that besides buying back old clients' Fays, they could also provide heavily nurtured, fresh, and perfect spiritual materials, and he excitedly asked when the next batch would arrive. She told him in 3 weeks, and would notify him of any changes on Star Web, while he thought that his funds should have turned over by then, giving him plenty of room to work with. Lin Yuan then asked why her business was so quiet despite having a good shop, and she asked if he did not know. She explained that today was a match between members of the Sequence 100 at the Starry Sky Tower's Radiance ladder, so most staff and customers had gone to watch, and he wondered if the Sequence members were Redbud 100. She corrected him, saying it was higher than that, the Radiance Federation's Radiance 100, and he acknowledged it. He told Sister Jo he would get going, and she replied that his goods would be delivered later. Lin Yuan realized the match had already started and saw only high platform tickets were left, resolving that he had to make it. He expressed his eagerness to see the strongest young combat professionals in the Radiance Federation and gauge the gap between them and Chu Ci. He entered a futuristic arena, hearing shouts of support for White Devil and Shiranui. As he climbed the stairs, he questioned why Star Web still had areas requiring stair climbing, noting the match had started but high platform tickets were unlimited, and the crowd continued to cheer for Shiranui and White Devil. He looked confused, wondering why they were cheering for both sides and who they were even supporting. A fan in a bee hat cheered for both Lord White Devil and Lord Shiranui, prompting Lin Yuan to question if it was Bull Cloudstream. The fan looked up in surprise through their binoculars. Lin Yuan stood close to the fan, who called him uncle, and noted his face was close, and he asked them to put down the telescope first. The fan told Lin Yuan there was no rule against cheering for both sides, explaining she would be happy no matter who won, and then she asked him who he supported. He responded that he supported both of them just like her. She exclaimed that he had good taste, while he internally thought that he did not even know who the two combatants were. As the two figures stood close together in the arena, the fan pulled back, making a sound of annoyance, and asked if he was the one who had grabbed on first. She then offered him her binoculars, stating that if he supported both he could not miss a single detail, and that just listening to commentary was not enough. He thanked her, thinking that she was awkward, but actually pretty nice. Looking through the binoculars, he observed that the two sides were not the same type of combat professional. He then noticed that two of the plants looked like healing-type Fays. The fan asked him who he thought would win, acknowledging his good eye. He suggested that the one ranked higher in the sequence should have the advantage, noting their Fays were already at gold tier. One combatant commanded her Molten Bear to use Molten Palm Strike, and the Molten Bear attacked with Fiery Palms, while the other combatant commanded her Fusang Snow Tree to use Ice Chill on the Ice Soul Grass. The Fusang Snow Tree blew away the flames, and the Molten Bear's Fast Assault barely had any effect. The first combatant declared they were covering each other's weaknesses, and she would crack their strategy, then ordered her Molten Bear to use Charge Shot to pin down the Fusang Snow Tree's movements. The Molten Bear prepared its fiery charge, and then unleashed a powerful attack. The fan commented on the overwhelming offense, explaining that Lady Shiranui, an offensive type aura professional, had a higher chance of winning compared to the healing type. She then reassured him not to worry, stating that White Devil was higher in sequence rank. Daisy, nicknamed White Devil, who was sequence number 18, prepared her healing abilities. She successfully healed her Fusang Snow Tree and supported the Molten Bear on a nicknamed Shiranui, who was sequence number 47, complemented Daisy's impressive ability to save both her Fays under such a fierce assault, but warned that her attacks were far from over. The Fusang Snow Tree could only defend passively under the double onslaught of the two bears, making the balance of victory tip. Anna smiled, noting that the war of attrition had been going on for a quarter of an hour, and Daisy's aura must be almost spent. Lin Yuan wondered if a healer even with a higher sequence rank was still at a disadvantage against an offensive type. Daisy told Anna that the gap between their ranks was not as simple as she thought, and she launched a powerful counterattack. She commanded her Ice Soul Grass to use Absolute Frost Seal, and the Molten Bear was encased in ice. Anna expressed surprise that Daisy could still pull off such a large-scale move after a drawn-out fight. She realized that both Molten Bears were frozen, and the Fusang Snow Tree and Ice Soul Grass did not look so good either. Lin Yuan noted that White Devil had finally turned the tables and stopped Shiranui's fierce assault, but believed the seal would not last long and Shiranui would make a comeback, while the fan reminded him that White Devil was a healer. Daisy commanded her Revival Butterfly to use Wings of Revival, and the Fusang Snow Tree and Ice Soul Grass were enveloped in a green healing aura. Spectators exclaimed that their wounds were being mended with just a wave of her hand, and that they were battle-ready again. Anna acknowledged Daisy's abilities. She then declared that she would be the one to win. The fan pointed out that it was a level crush, because the Flowflame Giant Bear was already at Platinum tier. Daisy told Anna she did not expect her to have improved this much. A blue crystal shattered around Daisy's Fae. Daisy stood confidently as red butterflies swirled around her. Anna declared that Daisy would not be able to break through her Flowflame critical Fae, which combined offense and defense, and that she trained this move specifically to defeat her. Daisy simply commanded her Fae to go. The Molten Bear roared, showing signs of injury as it was hit by the attack. Anna looked up in surprise as the attack landed. The battle was decided with White Devil Daisy defeating Lady Shiranui, Anna gaining one more glory star on the ladder. Anna conceded, stating she could not complain about losing since Daisy's Revival Butterfly evolved into a fantasy species. While still at gold tier, Daisy corrected her, explaining it was no longer a Revival Butterfly but a Calamity Butterfly, and told Anna to chin up because the audience was watching. The crowd cheered enthusiastically for both White Devil and Shiranui. The fan in the bee hat excitedly praised both Lady White Devil and Lady Shiranui, hugging Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan thought that compared to this Chu-Sis school battles were child's play, realizing that Daisy and Anna represented the top-tier combat power of the Radiance Federation's younger generation. The fan in the bee hat told Lin Yuan goodbye, reminding him not to slack off and to remember her web-spraying spiders, and he assured her he understood. He then pondered how strong a fantasy species healing type Fae could truly be capable of beating even a platinum tier combat type Fae. He looked at a glowing rune in his hand, realizing it was the key to evolving a Fae into a fantasy species, and perfectly suited for healing type Faes. He considered that his only healing type Fae at the moment was Jasmine Lily, which gave him a slight headache. Standing in a room, he held a glowing blue object reflecting on hope despite a blurry future ahead. He then entered a room where Genius and Sound were asking what they were doing upstairs, because he could hear them from downstairs, and Genius let out a soft meow. Lin Yuan asked if he needed to knock before entering his own room and what they were hiding, to which the cat replied that Sound was practicing singing, and it was finding sheet music for her. He told them to move over as he needed to look something up, and the feline readily agreed. Sound then asked the cat if Lin Yuan had noticed anything, and it confirmed that he had quickly shut the computer and secretly registered an account Lin Yuan did not know about. Lin Yuan, now at the computer, thought that raising a bronze tier Fae to legend quality required at least C-rank spirit chi, and he considered auctioning the two web-spraying spiders online for a decent price. The doorbell rang, and a courier from Ostrich Logistics number 487 delivered goods, ordered on Star Web, asking him to sign, which he promptly did. Another courier, an older man, shouted at the new guy to hurry and move the valuables, and the new guy responded with a quick Sir. Lin Yuan, with Genius perched on his shoulder, questioned what valuables were, then clarified that they were for the shop's future development. The new courier, a woman named Aneng, introduced herself as courier number 3451, carrying two large boxes and a fish in a bowl balanced on top. Lin Yuan looked concerned, thinking that was a close call, and decided he should handle the precarious situation. The fish in the bowl, perched precariously on top of the boxes, began to fall. Genius saw the falling fish, thinking it was a bad situation unfolding. The cat quickly jumped and caught the fishbowl with its paw, letting out a surprised meow. Lin Yuan held Genius and the fishbowl, asking where the other magical golden fish was. Sound, flying above, stated that it was right there carrying another fish in a bowl, and he expressed his profound relief. He told the courier she almost caused a disaster, but then reassured her it was fine as everyone slips sometimes, while the courier profusely apologized. He then stood among boxes of blue ore, thinking it was quite a sight and wondering if they were opening a mine, noting that only by scaling up profits could they. But the rookie courier was surprisingly strong to have moved all the ore. Lin Yuan instructed Genius that he was going into seclusion to train, and all the data from the unknown ore had been saved to his Star Web account, telling him to start studying. And Genius confirmed that he understood. He placed his hand on the fishbowl, activating Lock Spirit. With his hand glowing as it touched the water, he declared the next step was to level up. 1 hour later, the fish had evolved to elite quality, and the process consumed much more spirit chi than a green radish to evolve, though the spiritual power gained was similar, making spirit-absorbing goldfish notoriously difficult to raise. Lin Yuan scratched his head, pondering how he was supposed to move all the ore into the lock spirit space. 2 days later, a fish swam freely in a large glowing spirit-transforming pool, and he felt a pang of jealousy at its freedom there. He complained to Mobius that he was always alone and constantly disturbed, asking why he had not helped at all, having moved over 1,000 jin of ore by himself. Mobius in spirit form reminded him he was still in spirit form, explaining that the spirit chi density in the lock spirit space was saturated, and further increases would require his next advancement. But the density limit would keep rising, now at 5 times that of the outside world's. Lin Yuan observed that the spirit-absorbing goldfish constantly drew in the space's spirit chi, and Mobius declared it would be the shop's future signature product. He mused that it would be great if the dragon breed could awaken a dragon bloodline, and Mobius questioned if that did not require insanely expensive dragon-type beast blood. Lin Yuan confirmed that lack of money was his biggest problem, and he could only make cash quickly through fast-tracking Fey upgrades and earnings, while Mobius asked what he was working on this time as he held a glowing box. He replied that while web-spraying spiders and elite green radish sold well, the shop needed more distinctive products. Mobius then asked why he dragged everything in there to evolve them, and Lin Yuan explained it was because the spirit chi conversion speed in the lock spirit space was 5 times that of the outside world. He placed his hand on one of the spiders, which began to glow. 3 spiders were shown, each being upgraded to epic quality. Lin Yuan exclaimed that raising their quality to epic took barely over 2 hours, which would have taken at least a dozen hours outside. A doorbell rang. He then checked his phone, which displayed transaction records for 2 items sold. Confirming his earlier thought, Lin Yuan, with gold coins in his eyes, told Mobius to keep it up and auction these 2 as well, aiming to hit a small goal first, and Mobius asked if he was going to turn into a total money grubber. He then read a message about the burden of measures like artificial governance falling upon successful adults, and wondered if people could send tips to Star Web shops. He looked shocked and sweaty, questioning if it could be. He quickly ran up the stairs, muttering about being trapped in yesterday, and the brightest starlight shining on his year of breaking the cocoon. Lin Yuan asked Genius and Sound what they were doing, and they replied that they were studying. He then offered to check, but they both shouted no. Lin Yuan looked surprised as he saw Sound's stream, which displayed text praising her singing as a voice from the heavens, and asking why she was hiding her face as a beauty streamer. And he murmured the phrase, a beauty streamer, as the night deepened around his quiet home. A sense of calm settled over the surroundings. Yet beneath the surface, unseen forces were at play, slowly drawing closer to his doorstep, the quiet hours passing by without incident until a subtle shift in the air hinted at an impending change, a moment of transition approaching where the past would soon meet the present, and long-held secrets would begin to surface. The threads of fate weaving tighter, leading to an inevitable encounter, as the world outside remained still, a prelude to the unfolding drama. Each second bringing him closer to a revelation, a knock that would alter his path, breaking the peaceful silence of the night, signaling that something significant was about to begin. And the narrative continued its steady progression towards this very moment of truth. Lin Yuan, deep in thought, considered how his sister Zio would be diligently preparing for the 100 prodigy selection, making it unlikely she would contact him by phone, leaving him to wonder who could possibly be knocking so late. He then noticed the knocking had changed its rhythm, suspecting someone else had taken over, and a chilling thought crossed his mind, fearing the worst, that his unique ability to evolve phase had somehow leaked, and they were now here to kidnap him. Genius, sensing the tension, asked him who could be calling at such an hour, questioning if he had perhaps stolen someone's business. But he quickly dismissed the idea, explaining that his small shop was far too insignificant to ever steal business from anyone. Lin Yuan then instructed Sound to be ready to strike with both turbulence and sound spike if he were to step back after opening the door, and the loyal bird acknowledged his command with a soft chirp. He cautiously opened the door just a crack, peering out into the darkness, and asked the person standing there who exactly they were looking for. A man and a woman stood on his porch, and the man with a reassuring tone asked if he was indeed the child of Lin Jian, and Chu Yan, telling him there was no need to be nervous. Lin Yuan, taken aback by the mention of his parents, asked them if they knew who his mother and father were. The woman then presented a gleaming gold badge, stating that its presence should make everything clear, and she commented on how much he had grown since they last saw him. She introduced herself as Su Jin from the Spirit Suppression Bureau, asking him to call her Aunt Su, and then introduced the man beside her as Dong Hai, explaining that they had managed to find his location because he had tried accessing internal bureau files earlier. Lin Yuan absorbed this new information, his mind racing, and then asked them directly about his parents. Dong Hai began to explain that it was a long and complicated story describing the chaotic aftermath of past events, and how many within the Bureau had worked with hidden identities, adding that the headquarters cleanup had taken years with lingering unresolved matters, and he apologized for taking so long to finally find him. Dong Hai then handed him a dark blood-stained piece of cloth, which Lin Yuan took into his hands looking utterly shocked by its appearance. The cloth bore a message written in what appeared to be blood, which read Zio Yuan Zio Ci, may your path ahead be smooth and free. Lin Yuan immediately recognized the handwriting as his mother's, a wave of emotion washing over him. Dong Hai then explained that Bureau missions were inherently extremely dangerous, which was precisely why Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li had kept the truth from him, asking him not to blame them for their protective actions. Lin Yuan, his voice steady, told Aunt Su that he understood completely, and would never blame them, instead thanking them for allowing him and his sister to grow up safely shielded from harm. Dong Hai gently placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, stating that from this moment forward, if anything were to happen, he could always count on Uncle Dong to look after him as well. Su Jin then gave a subtle cough, a gentle reminder that prompted Dong Hai to recall something else important. Dong Hai presented Lin Yuan with a small box, explaining that its contents had been earned through his parents' merits, and had only been approved thanks to Auntie Zhang's repeated and persistent requests, and Lin Yuan, curious, asked what it could be. Dong Hai then revealed that it was a source seed, and Lin Yuan, unfamiliar with the term, asked what exactly a source seed was. The conversation continued, delving deeper into the mysteries of the world, as the events continued to unfold, revealing more layers of his past and future. An unnamed monk stated he would await good news from benefactor Lin, and then took his leave, leaving Lin Yuan to ask a woman if she still had business, explaining he had no fays for sale, and she inquired if he could heal fays there. He asked her to elaborate, and she explained that her fay was seriously injured with its essence damaged. Lin Yuan considered that essence damage might be treatable if the fay was below silver tier. The woman expressed great joy, believing her daughter's fay might finally be saved. He was surprised. She had a daughter, thinking she looked about the same age as Chu Ci. She then showed him her daughter's bronze tier fay, explaining it was injured by a horn demon during a trial near a dimensional rift. Lin Yuan asked about the horn demon, understanding its horn flames carried a withering effect devastating to plant-type fays, which had damaged the fay's core essence. The woman thanked him, stating she lacked money this month but would pay next month, and he told her not to rush, asking her to bring the injured fay next month as payment. He clarified that he did not want money, only revival soil, which surprised her, making her feel she was getting a good deal. He assured her he would find the revival soil for her, but if she could not find it, they could discuss a price. Lin Yuan privately thought that even Sister Xin did not have revival soil, concluding this woman must have serious connections. He considered the necessary materials, noting that revival soil was now handled. Spirit spring water could be bought, but the red heart tree core remained a challenge. He wondered if the only way to acquire the red heart tree core was through bidding at the Rarities Pavilion auction. He decided to set that aside for now and focus on sending the web-spraying spiders to Cloudstream, noting that the goods were ready for pickup. Little Chi then exclaimed that he was cheating, having produced 5 epic quality fays in just a few days, expressing shock at his speed. She told him she did not expect him to be so quick, and confirmed she would definitely roll the transparent web trait. Lin Yuan asked if the inspection checked out and if he could ship the goods, and she enthusiastically agreed. He warned her that one of the spiders had the venom skill and advised her to be careful mentioning her hair. Little Chi reacted angrily, reminding him that her hair was for a purpose and was already almost grown back. She stated the money was transferred and said goodbye, while Lin Yuan thought she was still mad, but was pleased to have enough capital to scale up production. He then signed a document with a delivery person as production expanded and continuous earnings flowed, and Lin Yuan smiled as he carried a box with Genius sitting nearby reading a book. He lay in bed checking his phone and thinking about ordering more butterfly-tailed spirit absorbing goldfish and green radish when Genius called his name. Lin Yuan asked Genius if he had strained his eyes from studying too long, but Genius explained he did not understand the concept of complexity of Fey evolution. He asked Genius to specify what he was stuck on, and Genius explained that if a Fey's evolution was not just about improving its grade or battle ability, then evolution would fail if it did not maintain its original existence. Lin Yuan pondered, finding such an abstract theory hard to grasp and needing a concrete example. He then asked Genius if he knew the green radish, and Genius confirmed that sound ate it all the time. Lin Yuan asked how Genius would evolve it to improve its survival, and Genius suggested making it lose its leaves and become poisonous so nothing would eat it. Genius further elaborated that it should be super hardy and not need daily watering like a poisonous cactus. Lin Yuan told him that was the wrong direction, which surprised Genius, who thought his answers were survival focused. He then showed Genius the actual evolution form, a bronze tier green radish, and Genius exclaimed it was nothing like what he had said. Genius described the evolved radish as juicy, tender, and tasty, questioning if it wanted to be eaten, and Lin Yuan confirmed that was correct. Lin Yuan explained that the green radish's evolutionary path basically tells all Fays to produce food and taste good, so nature would take care of them, securing their place within the Fey ecosystem. Genius still insisted he would evolve to taste terrible, but Lin Yuan advised him not to overthink and suggested they go for a walk, which Sound eagerly agreed. As they walked, Lin Yuan, with Genius on his shoulder and Sound floating, remarked it felt like forever since they had gone out, attributing it to relying too much on online shopping, while a holographic figure spoke of the city Holographic Woman then announced reforms to the Creator Certification exam by the Radiance Federation Creators Guild, stating that anyone completing the one-star creator test within 2 hours would be exempt from 3 life profession exams and could directly challenge the 2-star certification. Lin Yuan realized this meant he could go straight for the certification no matter what, and Genius offered to help. As the news moved on to other Federation updates, the news reported that activity would peak in 6 months, advising Radiance Federation citizens to remain calm and prepare, which startled Lin Yuan. The broadcast continued, stating that during Rift activity periods, the Bureau would be deployed to defend against the Beast Tide, showing holographic images of officers. Lin Yuan, as a child, tearfully asked his parents where they were going. His father told him to take good care of Zio Ci, explaining that he and his mom had something to handle and would be home tomorrow. A bloody hand appeared as an adult told young Lin Yuan that his parents were gone. A young girl, Chu Ci, asked her brother where their dad and mom were, and he solemnly replied they were not coming back. He embraced a crying Chu Ci, promising that he, her big brother, would take care of her. From then on, a hand held 2 distinct emblems back in the present. Genius and Sound looked worried, asking Lin Yuan what was wrong. He smiled, assuring them he was fine and suggesting they go home. Lin Yuan then realized that the emblem he recalled from his past was the mark of the Spirit Suppression Bureau all along.